find a 5-number summary for the following and make a box plot. And we also want to determine if there are any outliers in this data set. Okay, now first thing we want to do is determine how many values there are in this data set. Okay, so here, if you count out, there are 16 data values. Okay. Now this is an even number of data values, right? Remember, the 5-number summary is going to be the low value, okay, the first quartile, the second quartile or the median, and then the third quartile, and then the high value. Okay, low and the high, those are pretty straightforward, right? The lowest number and the highest number. Remember, the Q2 is also the median, right? So how do we find the median? Well, if there's an even number of data values, right? So we can use this formula, n plus 1 over 2, which is 16 plus 1 over 2, which is 17 over 2, which is 8.5. Remember, this is the position of the median. So, but well, what does it mean, 8.5, right? That means the median should be between the 8th and the 9th number, which means we have to take the average of the 8th and the 9th number. Well, if we count in order, right, which one's the 8th number? This is the 8th number, and this one is the 9th number here. Okay, so then the median would be halfway in between. Okay, so then Q2, right, the Q2 would be 88 plus 89 divided by 2, which is 88.5, okay? So the median, we notice in this case, right, would be right over here, right, 88.5. That is Q2, or the median. Okay? Now take a look at this, right? How many values, okay, how many values are below the median? Okay? There's 8 values below the median, right? There's 8 values below the median, and there are 8 values above the median. Okay? So how do we find Q1? Okay, well, Q1 is the median of the lower half of these 8 numbers. Okay? So to find Q1, we would need the median of the lower half. Now, once again, there's an even number of data values, right? So to find Q1, okay, let's do this, right? We want to do the same for Q1, right? N plus 1 over 2, so 9 over 2, which is 4.5. Now remember, we're just taking the lower half here, okay? So Q1 would be the average of the 4th and the 5th values. Okay, remember, this is the position of the median. The median is not 4.5, right? It's the position. So the 4th number is 69, the 5th number is 77, so when we want to take the average of those two. So we'll take 69 plus 77, divide that by 2, we get 73. Okay, so that means that 73 here, okay, that would be Q1. And similarly, to find Q3, we would take the median of the upper half of these 8 numbers. Okay, so we want to do the same thing. Now we know that the median would be in the position 4.5. Okay, so the 4th number is 95, the 5th number is 96, so halfway in between that would be 95.5. Okay. So there we go, right? So the 5-number summary, I'm just going to put that 5-number summary in this case. Okay, we get 45, 73, 88.5, 95.5, and 100. Okay, so that would give us the 5 values, the low, the high, first quartile, second quartile, and the median, and the third quartile. Okay, so to make a box plot, okay, now to make the box plot, what I recommend is let's just make the box first, okay? So let's make the box first here, okay, and then we can give a little scale underneath, okay? So this is going to be 73, right? So let's just draw a little scale here to tell us what the numbers are, right? This is going to be 70 about, okay? And we know that the upper quartile is about 95, right? So we'll mark 90 about over here, okay, which means 80 should be about over here. Okay. So we can mark this off about every 10 values, right? Okay. So once again, we notice that the first quartile is about 73. Okay. The third quartile is about 95.5. Okay. Now where is the median? The median is about 88.5, which is about closer to this side, right? So we're going to draw this vertical line here at 88.5, which is where the median is located. The low value is 45. Okay, and the high value is here about 100. Okay. So just a rough little box plot here. Right? Remember, the key is the scale here, right? Okay, now in this case, I went by every 10. If you want to go by every 5, that's okay as well. Right, how do we know if there's any outliers? Okay, what we want to do is we want to find the interquartile range and multiply that by 1.5. Okay, and then we want to use Q1 and Q3 here as reference. Okay, so what do we have here for the interquartile range? Right, remember this is Q3 minus Q1, right? So 95.5 minus 73 in this case is 22.5. Then when we multiply that by 1.5, okay, we get 33.75, right? So what does that mean? It means we want to take Q1, right? Q1 minus 33.75, okay? Remember, Q1 is 73, right? So 73 minus 33.75, that gives us 39.25, okay? Now you notice that the low value is 45, right? Okay, and this number is 39.25. So anything less than 39.25, that would be an outlier. So in this case, there is no outlier on the bottom end. Okay, and then we want to take Q3 plus 33.75. Okay, Q3 in this case was 95.5. So we'll add the 33.75 to that, and we get 129.25, right? So what does that mean? It means any value above 129.25 would be an outlier. Okay, so in this case, there are no outliers.